So, good evening. Good evening to everyone. Thanks for joining. So, today I will work more on guilds, in particular on the guilds UI, members, and permissions. So I didn't do much progress, I have to say. So most of the progress that you see is the one that I did on stream. And yeah, the reason is that I've been busy with other stuff, and so was not really able to do much more than this, but we're making progress a lot's way. Hello everyone. I just opened the chat now, so if any one of you wrote something, I probably didn't see it. I just opened it up now. Okay, so let's just quickly recap the mission that we have, so what we are doing. And maybe also let's try to flag some of this as completed, okay? So this part, which is the first pass to convert base messages and types in Guild Manager, has been done. Study the information between client and server has been done as well. Check a guild command manager, I still have to do it, so I don't know exactly, if yeah, I have to check this. I don't know if this is used, how it's used, and what are the implications. The compilation of the file, we did it already. And the creation of the UI is basically done. I will show you what I did. I did a bit more than what you saw in the last stream. I want to have a nice sticker. Okay, let's do it this way. So I think the UI we have. So the UI are basically the four screens you see here at the bottom, right? So these four screens are the ones that we have replicated. Now, the way I envision the UI at the end is very different. Okay, so this UI is really, let's say, old style, based on kind of Windows-like kind of style, but I don't think we should do it this way in the future. Let me see if I can take some screenshots of there is a survival game that I was checking that has a nice UI when you open up. Let me see if okay, so for example, something like that, right? It's too small. Okay, so like this game, okay, it's a bit weird obviously, but it's not exactly what I mean, but I mean that, for example, for inventory, this game just has basically a 3D view of all the items that are in your inventory. So if you have, like axes and other stuff, I mean, now I don't want to do it with the inventory because I think otherwise it would be a mess, right, to manage. But what I'm saying is that when you are, for example, opening the guild manager, maybe you could have a kind of a screen with stuff that you click and 3D objects. Okay, so I would like the windows to be as much visual as possible, right? As visual as possible, and not as we have now, which is just a bunch of, say, screens like this, which are good, I guess, for keeping the information clean, but at the same time they are not really sexy, not really nice to see and such. So I think we can improve it, but for now we are keeping them as they are. Hello Marinus. When the new games come out, you're going to play it again? Okay, nice. Hello Miranda. Hello Rwanda. Hello. So I can show you what I did. So I think I replicated pretty much the four screens. So this is the first screen when you have the online, the members, invite and leave, the list of people belonging to the guild, and then these buttons here at the bottom. Hello Jet. Hey. Then we have the settings, which is actually, this one is the first screen where you have the guild message of the day, the name, the website, and if it's secret or not, and you can change these parameters. Then we have the permission. Now the permission is really a mess, because the permission is basically a huge grid, you know. It's like the one that you see at the bottom. It's like a huge grid of checkboxes, and I don't know, it looks and also is I don't know, there's the vertical writing here that you have to read vertically. You see, you have to read like in this direction to understand what is written, like alliance chat, guild bank. I mean, they're not very nice, so I think we should redo this somewhere else. I mean, some in different way. Should redo it in a different way. Okay, that's a good thing, Jet. I think it's a good idea to advertise in game the fact that we are streaming. Nice. I think it's a good idea. So the way I did it, I just simplified it a bit because I didn't like the vertical text. And so for now, basically you have these numbers, and every number corresponds to this legend up here. And so you know that, I don't know, number 3 is invite, number 4 is remove, number 5 is promote. I don't know. Then we will find maybe a better way. Okay, for now our mission is to make it functional exactly like it was functional in the old plane shift game, and then we will see. Okay, and then there is a last screen, which is this one, which is the alliance, screen. Okay, with the list of alliance and all the buttons needed to operate it. So now, what are we doing? Now what we need to do, we need to ensure that these windows are properly populated from the server side with the right information. Okay, and actually the first one is already. The others are not. So where is my Visual Studio? Is here. So what we should do, and is what I was doing now. I was trying to convert the message to send the members list. Okay, so let me see. Okay, we have a few errors here, but I think it's okay because it's the file I was modifying. Okay, so we have one function which is basically populating one screen. So each screen is populated by one function. Very simple, right? And this function in particular is the one that is populating the list of the members of the guild, right? So this is the code. So the first thing it is doing is checking just if the guild exists. So if you are in a guild, so it's basically check if player is in a guild. The second thing that it check if the levels are defined, because obviously this is sending out information of the members and of the levels, and so it needs to know. I mean, the levels have to be defined, otherwise you would not be able to name the people in the guild, right? So these two checks actually, I think we can port them also in the old code. The white background is the old code. I think I would like to keep the so send member list, send member data. Yeah, so these two comments, I think I will put it here as well, so that we have it also in the old code. Okay, nice. Then what is doing? So if these two checks are passed, then what is doing is to get finally the list of the members list. Now for the member list by itself, it already contains quite a bit of information, like the name of the guy and such, but is not really containing the additional information. And for example, is not containing the fact if this member is online or not, right? And there is an information that we want in our window, because actually our window has here an online online column, so that tells you if that guy is online or not, because you want to know who are the people in your guild which are online and you can maybe message and play with and such, right? So this is exactly where I was. Okay, so I was doing this piece of code and I was checking. So the old way to do it was this way, through the clients, but we don't have that anymore. So the new way to do it is to use this find player entity. To find this player entity, we actually need this piece of code. We actually need this piece of code that I have here. Now, the point is that we need at least one valid client. Do we have it? Yes, because we have it as an input. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I think we can do this, and we can get the world from our client, and then we can say find player entity by ID, and we just pass in the ID. Actually, I could have. Does he have the PID? No, it doesn't have the PID. Okay, no, it's correct. I mean, this is the only way we can do it. Okay. So this line is basically searching into the world, into the current server, if there is a player connected at that time with that particular ID. If it doesn't find it, this thing will be null. This member client will be null. If he finds it, then it's good. Okay. So we search for the guy. So checking if this guy is online. If he's online, then you see that he flags this online equal to yes. Now I think we changed this to be a boolean. Let me just check. Online. Char ID, name, character, guild level, guild points, public nodes, private nodes, last login, privileges. Oh, we don't have the online flag here. Why? This is not good. No, I think we need it. We need to add this information, because actually also the last online. Why is not in this structure actually? Last login is here, for example, but online is not here, unless I'm blind and I don't see it. But no. Why? Let me check in the old code. Maybe I missed it when I... Character ID, name, character, guild level, guild point, public, no private, no lost login, previous. No, it's not here. It's not here. So it was sent separately for some reason. Now we need to add it in our structure. We want to send everything in this structure. I don't want to make anything different. So at the end here, we will have a new U property, which will be new, but it's fine. I mean, it's no problem. And this will be a boolean, and it will be just called online. As simple as that. And we can say in the comments, we can say is the player online? Okay, and it is a boolean. Simple as that. Okay, then this online, then we change it to be a boolean, because at this point is better for us, is easier. And this boolean, so in this case, will be equal to true and not to yes, and this will be equal to false instead of no, and this then will be like this. Okay, so let me see what it does here, because here we may have some stuff that is not working anymore in Unreal Engine. So it's extracting the character location. Okay, this one I think we are not populating anymore. So for now I can put you fix me and saying that we don't have sectors anymore. But do we want to display the location? Okay, because actually the point is that in your guild list here you have the sector. So it was telling you, for example, if a specific member of the guild was in this location. Now at the moment we don't have in our code the ability to identify the different sectors of the game, because the game now is no more made of different levels that you load and unload, but is basically using seamless dynamic travel. And so while you travel, while you move, is loading the other pieces, and in theory you should not even notice it. Okay, so you should just move and that's it. Okay, so having said that, now this one we don't have, but maybe we want to have it in the future. Okay, maybe we want to. So this is why I'm placing this command. So we may remember that in the future we want to have the location. There is not an easy problem to solve, by the way. It's not just because it's a bit long to explain here, but Unreal Engine is really working differently. So we don't have anymore the concept of a sector. The last login time I think is fine. Let me just check how is returning it. Is an f string. Yeah, I think it's extracted from the database, so I think it's fine. For some reason it's truncating this string. Why is truncating it? To 16 specifically, I have no idea why. I have no idea why it's trying to truncate the string, but let's say that for now we do the same. So truncate 16 is equal in Unreal Engine to left 16. So I guess we will do the same. So up to here is fine. Then what is doing? If he's online and the flag is being passed as online only, so I'm returning only the online players, then and now we are saying if he's online, or if the flag online only is not specified, then I add this member to the list that I want to send out. Okay. If not, I should not add it. So actually, there is a bit of a tricky one, because actually what we need to do, I think we have to do this this check after this or maybe we do it client side. Who cares? What do you think? We can do it client side. I mean, I think we can avoid this. We can pass them through, all of them, pass them through, and then only the ones that are online we filter it on the client. I think it's probably easier. Because otherwise, you know what is the problem? Is we are doing a for loop on an array, and I have to remove items from that array, which is not a great idea while I'm looping through it. So yeah, I think this part we can just put on the client side. So what I want to do is to instead of doing it in XML like this, which is not, I mean, not something we are going to do anymore, we want to add this information. So member guild level, and then title. This one in theory should already be present, right? think this one should already be there. So this one should not be something that we have to populate. I think the only one that we have to populate is the online, the sector, and I think the last online. I think all the rest should already be done for us. So let's do this. Let's do sector name. By the way, the sector is not even here. Okay, perfect. So the sector, we are not using it, so it's fine. Last online, we need it. And last online will be equal to this one. And then the points, I think the points are already there, so I don't think I need to put them on. I need to, also the level and the points should be already there. So all this stuff I think we can delete. And so we are adding these two information to my member. Actually, the last login, well, I don't know, we will debug, but I have the feeling that we have already this information. The only one is the online, which is not permanently stored in our members list, but let's see. Dan is doing something else here. What is doing? Here is adding the private nodes and the, okay. Only show private nodes to yourself. Is this actually working? Because this seems that is comparing the actual client, so which is myself, with the member. So so the private nodes are actually only on your character. Okay, so you cannot set private nodes for other members. Okay, I think that's how it works, huh? But actually, this member private node seems we have them already. Now I don't know exactly how we are populating this, but I think that member private nodes, yeah, this one should already be part of the values that we have, so I think it should be fine. What about the public nodes? Because the public nodes is also already on member. I don't think we need any of this anymore. Player info char ID, guild notifications, alliance notifications. So here is also sending out, if we are getting, so it's basically sending out these two boxes, I think, this one and this one. So it's sending out these two checkboxes information. Okay, so actually actually this one we don't have in our message. Actually this one I think we don't have in our send member data. Let me see. No, we don't have it. So first of all, this should become member, and this should be members. But then we need also these two information. Then we will send it here. Even if I think that every screen should populate its own stuff, right? Why we are populating it this way? I think that members should send the guilds, and alliance should send the alliance. Why not? Why we are sending both here? Is getting guild notification, is getting alliance notification. I don't understand. So I will just place is getting guild notifications. I know it's a bit of a long name, but of a variable, but I think it's clear. And we can have the same here, which will be is getting alliance notifications. Okay. So is a bit cleaner. Now the alliance we will see, because it's not completed yet. But for this one, so I think we need then to call. So this cycle is completely useless. This is what I'm saying, right? This cycle is completely useless. The problem is that if we do this, means that we will send the private nodes to the client, which is a very bad idea, because then it can be hacked and you can see the private nodes of the other people. It is a very bad idea, so we should filter those out when we are sending it. So let's do it here. So we can say filter private node, only show private nodes to yourself. I think this was a good comment. Only show private nodes to yourself. So we can do this check here. So if client get PID is equal to member share ID, actually this will never work, I think, but it has to be, because it has to be unboxed. Okay. So if this is the case, then I can, no, I think I have to do the opposite. Assuming that if it's not, then I just clear out the private nodes. Right? So I clear out the private nodes of all the other people before sending it to the client. So the server has it, but the client will only get its own private nodes. Okay, fine. And all of this, I think, is totally useless now, which is pretty good. So we are sending this. And the online only is something that you flag yourself in the UI, so I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, I don't think we should send it out from the server side. You just do it on the client, so I think that's okay. So this P should be fine. Now, should we do also the one about alliances? Maybe we should. There should be a send alliance. Send levels should be fine. By the way, I see that today we have one flag for Guild Bank. What does it mean? It means that people can put money into the bank and can get money from the bank. Just with one flag. Because I think it would be nice to split it, no? But I don't know how it works today. So if I can access the guild bank, can I automatically put money and take money? Because I think it would be nice to have them separate. So you may allow a member to put money, but not a member to get money. If any of you knows how it works today, that would be nice. Tell me. Tell me how it works, because I don't know. Okay, so this send alliance data is the one. No, sorry, here we didn't call the function at the end. At the end of this, we need to call on our client. We need to do client get controller, blah 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 blah. All of this, right? We have to do this in the same way. And instead of receive guild level data, we should do receive guild member data. and we should pass in members, and then we should pass in the is getting notified. What was it? Is getting guild notifications. Okay, this one. Right now, members. Now here we may have the same problem that we had for levels. I think I cannot pass in a pointer to a member. I can try, but I think he will not like it. Let me try. Because we did it for levels, and for some reason I couldn't pass in an array of pointers. He wanted to have an array of actual objects to be sent to the client. Right? I don't know. We will see. It's compiling, boys. Okay, failed. Why failed? Yeah, you see, he's not allowing me to pass in a pointer to guild member. I need to pass here the actual guild member, so there's no way. Okay, so we have to do the same change that we did for guild level. So we need this not to be a pointer anymore, but just to be physical data, which is a bit annoying because it means that we need to change quite a bit of this part, like we did in the past. So like we did for levels. So like this, and then this, and then this function for sure, and the declaration of guild members, and all the functions that are using guild members, and I'm populating guild members. So that will become like this. And if I go in, let me just see where members is declared. Hopefully it's declared here somewhere. Come on. Where is it? 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 Wow, it's a big class. Holy moly. Is it here? No, it's not. Okay, I think I just need to search it with this function. So let's do pick definition. Okay, here it is. So guild member, this one becomes just a normal like we have in levels. Now doing that will generate a lot of errors, but we're going to fix them one by one. Don't be scared, we can do this. So through RPC, it seems that you can pass only the actual objects and not pointers to, or anyway, not arrays of pointers for some reason. I don't know why, because actually you should be able to just get the, from the array of pointers, just send out what is needed. But yeah, all the members dot will become now. Yeah, all of those have to be converted to dot instead of all of this, all of this, all of this, all of this. Yes, all these iterators will have then to be removed. So they are just iterating now on an array of guild member and not guild member pointer, which may have some disadvantages on the other side, but at the moment, considering that RPCs allow me to do only this, I have no choice. I have no choice, boys. I have no choice. It's compiling. Hello, someone joined. I don't know who you are, but welcome. Usually when I do this, the guy immediately leaves. Okay, so it's compiling. It's running through. Okay, failed. I still that we still have few errors here and there, so it's fine. I mean, I was expecting to get, you know, errors like this, which is fine. Yeah, whenever we have iterating now on the members list, member is no more, let's say, a pointer, and so we should, for all of this, say dot instead of the other one, which is basically everywhere in the code. It's freaking everywhere in the code, but it's okay. It's everywhere, my friends. Is here, is here, is here, is here. All these functions that are returning pointers should now return not pointers anymore, and we should do this here, and also yes, all the ones that are returning null, I think we should do the same as we were doing here. So we were returning an empty pointer, an empty yes. So just do this and just return empty. I mean, I know it's not the more elegant way to do it, but at this point I don't have many other ways. I don't have many other possibility. Okay, I think we changed them all. Let's recompile again and see what happens. Now you may ask, well, it's taking you a few weeks to do the guilds page, so what about all the other pages, all the other windows? Yeah, that's true. I mean, it takes quite some time to do one screen, but let me check these errors. Is inconsistent from the obviously is inconsistent from the .h. So now all defined, all these ones, find member, find leader should be changed. So if any of you has an idea on how to redo the UI, I mean, I think you can make some sketches and let me know. So how could be the best UI, the best user interface for the guild? You know, like I don't know. I see a guild as while it's compiling. Okay, so we have a bit of time, but I see a guild like we should have our guild. You know, our guild hall. So we should have okay, guild hall. This comes out. obviously. But imagine that you have your guild palace, let's call it, right, in view in 3D, even if there is no one in it, right? But and then you have some, I don't know, you have like a leaderboard, or you have some other stuff that you can click and you can look at, which is basically doing what now the the window like pages are doing. You know, so like having a view like this with few things you can click and use, and you know, I think it will be much nicer to see than what we have today. Right? I think would be better. It's still compiling, by the way. Still there. Yeah, because guild info is inherited from many other places, and so when I changing that is okay. Find leader is fine. So yeah. So now we have to do a bit of changes here. We have to do a few changes. So like this find leader is no more. Can I get intelligence? Because we cannot just test, you know. So I think we should do something like, or we do name is empty, or we do like guild level. I'm thinking, what is the best? What is the one that we always have? The one that we always have should be the name. So I think we should do a name is empty. So if name is not empty, and if guild find leader of character, and what? Why is 2 times? Why we have it 2 times here? I think because the old code was doing probably 2 checks. Let me see. It was checking the character and the actor. Yes, okay, it's fine. For us, I think it's only the character. It's perfectly fine. So if we find the APS character, means that it's somehow, you know, it's somehow loaded. In client ID, yes, client ID is correct. It is correct. It is correct. Okay. Now, all these places we have to change as well. It's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. I know. I know. But we have no other choice. We have to do this. Remove member, find member, remove member. Remove member is still the old way. Let me see. Come on, IntelliSense, you can do it. Yes. I should change this, and we should change this. I think it's still in many other places, by the way. Yeah, like this one. I think there are still a number of places where we have to change this. Sorry, here I'm messing up with the logic. This should be unbox. Yeah, there are quite some places where we have to change the code to achieve what we want to achieve. Quite some places, boys. Also here, for example, also here, there are so many places, but we can do it quick. We can go through those very quick, I think. So will not take too much. Well, hopefully. Why went the other line? Update membership seems to still be using the old system. Yes, in fact it is. So update member level, we should update yes, okay, and let me see what else. Wow, there's still so many places, boys, so many places. Still so many places. Okay, all of this have to be changed. This I can do a mass substitute, I guess. Otherwise it will take me forever. Has rights. Okay. Can we try to recompile? We did a lot of changes. Maybe we are getting closer to the point. Hello, Tyler. Which type of game we are making? Well, we already have a game which you can find on the site called planeshift.it. The game that we have is this one, and it's actually a game that was made a long time ago, and is actually running. You can download it and play it for free. It's an MMO, but obviously, I mean, the graphics and the functionality are now very old and not more up to date with with the latest game that you have these days. So what we are doing, we are porting that old game to Unreal Engine, and the porting is ongoing. I mean, obviously we are speaking about a very large game. We are speaking about I mean, millions of lines of code. I mean, we're not speaking about, so yeah, it's a bit scary, about 1 million lines of code, let's say, to be on the safe side, and a lot of art, a lot of assets, a lot of but let's say the code server side, we are pretty much able to reuse. The code client side unfortunately has to be completely redone, and the server side is what I'm doing at the moment. I mean, I'm doing server and I'm doing client as well. Yes, we're going to update the graphics as well. I mean, the graphics at the moment are not very relevant to the work that I'm doing, because first of all, we need the game to actually operate properly. But then, yes, we will update also the graphics. And if you want to help, we are searching people to help us. So, but yes, we want to upgrade the graphics. I think that the graphics itself are already upgrading just for the fact that we are in Unreal Engine, because, like, for example, shadows and lights and everything related to that was extremely simple in our old engine, while now with a new engine, I think we can do much more. So just the shadow of the characters, the way, I mean, the sunlight, and the candlelight, firelight, whatever light, and also spells and everything. I mean, it looks better in the new engine. Now, for example, for spells, we need new particles, and unfortunately, new particles we have to redo. So we will have to redo a significant amount of the client side, like I said. So yeah, significant amount. But it's okay. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's better than having the game disappear. You know what I don't want the game to disappear. So that's the main point. And if I leave it as it is in the old client, there will be a time in which I will not be able to compile it anymore, right? Because the graphics will be so much outdated, and the libraries and everything will be so much outdated that it will not be possible for me to compile it anymore, right? Mainly with the objective that we want to compile it on Mac, Linux, and Windows. So which is what we want to keep, and we want to keep the three platforms because we like the three platforms. And so to do that, we really need to have an up-to-date engine, where up-to-date is, you know, maximum 5 years old or 6 years old. Our engine is 10 years old, so that's why it's not possible anymore to keep it up to date properly. And this is also why. But at the end, I mean, this work is a hobby, you know, so we do it because we have fun doing it. So I'm not very concerned about the time I spend in it, because it's just for fun for the most part. So it's okay. So we see where we arrive, you know, if we will be able to do it or not able to do it. I think we will be able to do it, by the way, but just a matter of time and of the number of people that want to help us, right? How many people will join and help us to do it? There are already some people join. It's not myself alone. I'm not alone in this task. There are quite a number. I mean, some other people that are helping me, and it's very nice. So someone helped me on the graphics. Someone else helped me on the UI. So I mean, we are proceeding, but we are definitely seeking people that want to help us more, because we need more people. I mean, making an MMO as a side activity, I mean, in the spare time, is a very bad idea. I tell you, you will never finish it, right? So we have to face that, which is something that we faced already, and we have been successful. So I mean, there is a bit of magic in what we do, because actually we managed to do an MMO in our spare time, which is actually live since more than 10 years. So. But doing it again, I don't know, you know, being able to do it again and port it to a completely new engine, which has no similarities with the old engine, is another very crazy mission, right? It's another very crazy mission. But we're going to do it anyway. Because it's not something that you can do like in a few days, you know. So it's something that you have to do in a lot of time. What was the site that was telling you the open source statistics? OpenHub. Okay, OpenHub. Was this one, right? So yeah, so this is our old project. Our old project has 2.1 million lines of code. Sorry, 1.2. Sorry, I don't know why I read 2. 1.2 million lines of code, right? 1.2 million lines of code, and in terms of work. I think there was a way to see there is the there is the effort, the main effort to make it, So it's 350 man years. You know, 350 man years. Now, obviously, it was not only me because I'm not that old. I mean, I'm old, but not that old. And it's pretty impressive. You know, if you see this number, it's pretty impressive. Obviously, there's a model behind. It's not perfectly right, but let's imagine there is also half of that. It's still quite something. It's still quite something. So, how much time do we need to do the porting? Hopefully not 350 years. Hopefully not, but definitely it's quite some work, huh? Now, I know you want to see something like tomorrow. I know that. I know. I want to see something tomorrow as well, by the way. But it will still take a bit. But the good news is that we have a lot done already, okay? So I did a lot of work in the past, and I think we are in good shape. So the basics are already working, if you want to say. I mean, the basics are already working. Now, how much more has to be done? Quite a bit. Are we willing to do it? Absolutely yes. Are we scared about it? Absolutely not. Okay, here we are doing something that I have to think a bit more. Here we are getting this iterator, getting the member iterator. No. And then here is just the normal guild member, so we have to do this, we have to do this. Yeah, it's double. Why is double? Because in the old way it was I mean, it's too long to explain, but anyway. There is, by the way, the old code. All the stuff that you see here is old code, and it's the old code that we are converting. So the small changes I'm doing is the adaptation that I need to do between the old engine and the new engine. So that's why we are reusing a lot. I mean, if you see, we are reusing a lot. Most of the code stays the same server side. Miranda, you would like to help more? Well, there's a lot to do. There is a lot to do also on settings and rules, and there's a lot to do. I mean, if you want to do stuff, there is stuff to do. The problem is, for me, telling you exactly what to do, they will take time. Right. So it takes me time to tell you what to do and then you to do it, but it's fine. I think here we should do something like chart ID, because I don't think we can compare, you know, straight the thingy. How many errors do we still have? I hope it was less than this, but it's not. This thing is used in so many places. In so freaking many places. Guild membership. So the major, I think I can make a session maybe and explain exactly what is needed. But there is so much needed, even just in terms of thinking, you know, not in terms of doing, but in terms of thinking. Now, it's not a matter of coding. It's not a matter of coding. It's a matter of thinking. It's not a matter of coding. Coding I can do. Coding I can do, but it's thinking. So, for example, in the tabletop campaign that I'm doing with my players at the moment, because I decided to start a plane shift tabletop campaign, and I also created the rule for it. So if any of you want to play plane shift pen and paper with his friends, you can. There are rules under our wiki. If you go in our PS wiki and you go under plane shift role play, I think I placed it here, right? I'm not 100% sure, but okay. Did I place it here? I think I placed it here. Did I call it plane shift tabletop? Yeah, I called it plane shift tabletop. Okay. So if I search tabletop here, tabletop. No, I didn't link it to the main page, by the way, so you will not be able to find it unless you know that it exists. But it's okay. So if you go under plane shift tabletop, there are two links, which I hope they are linking to the right places. Yes, there is a player handbook and a talents description. But I say the player handbook is a Google Doc, which is this one. So it's using Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 system as a base, but then let's say that it's heavily modified for plane shift, and it tells you how to create a character and all our races and all our stuff, you know, and all our weapons and all our magic and all our things. So, but basically I'm running a campaign with this. And why I'm saying this, because in the campaign I'm actually experiencing, you know, the way the game should be played from the beginning when you create a new character, right? And it is what is making me think that the way we do it today is pretty bad, right? Do you remember Skyrim? The Skyrim beginning. So how do you start in Skyrim? So Skyrim gameplay, character creation. So you don't create a character. You don't create a character in a window.
And today we have some.
But you create
with Skyrim if you're not.
So just a second. You don't create a character in a window specifically choosing stuff. But yeah, okay. Here you do at the beginning, like you create this stuff. But I hope it goes after that. No, it doesn't. Okay, so it's not proving the point I want to prove. Okay, no. What I mean is that after you selected the race, okay, and that's fine. You can select it in a kind of a UI, but after that, your character is dragged into a kind of a cart, like a wooden cart, and you are like a prisoner, and you are walking on the street and something like that. Then you start to speak with people, and the first thing that the guy says to you is like, "What's your name?" You know, and it is the place where you choose the name. Is when the guy asks you, "What's your name?" I find that extremely nice and beautiful, and exactly the way we should do it. So I think that the character creation should be different in that way. So that it should be more interactive and part of the story somehow. So there should be already a cinematic going on, and you are creating your character through the cinematic and through the interaction with the world somehow. Now, I don't have a clear view of all the steps, so it has to be designed. But there is something, for example, that has to be designed, okay? And I don't have maybe the time to do it or whatever. But it is something that would be nice to design. Other things to design is just after that. So it is empty. Let's do it like this. And let's do it like this. So there is one very big part to design. The other big part to design is the start, is the tutorial and the start of the journey. You know, so at the moment you're basically starting the tutorial in a place which is a fake city, or anyway which is a part of the city which we just added for the tutorial, and I think that's very bad. I really don't like it. I mean, I like it on one side, but I don't like it on the other. So I think the way you should start should be plane shift already inside the story. Okay, so while that part of the city in our tutorial today is not part of the story, it's like fake characters that are explaining you how to play the game, and it feels okay, but it doesn't feel very immersive, right? While I think we can have a tutorial which is actually not spoken through characters, but is actually just pop-ups, you know, they are telling you what to do, but the actual world where you are moving is already the right one. So the first thing that I would like, for example, is the first thing that I would like is that when you start, you're actually inside the stone labyrinth, which is exactly what I'm doing with my tabletop players. You know, this is exactly what we are doing. So you are in the stone labyrinth, right? There is the map of the stone labyrinth. I don't know from the top, just a piece. And the first thing that happens is that you actually go through the portal, right? Which is the portal that brings you to Iliacum as a place. So what I would like to do is to have how do I make a portal like this? So okay. Anyway, let's assume it is a portal. So as soon as you start the game, there will be a cinematic, and then the fact that you go through the portal and you pass through the portal, you find yourself in the stone labyrinths, and maybe in the stone labyrinths you will start to have your basic tutorial training about, I don't know, how to move, how to jump, how to kill a monster, how to do stuff. So they can be, you know, very simple obstacles here in the middle, like a crevice or something, and they can be a small monster here, and you attack the monster. The UI is telling you what to do, but you're already in the story, you know. So you're already inside the story. You're already in the game, you know. You're already in the game, and everything is existing. So this freaking tunnel is actually existing in the game. It's not just fake made to make a tutorial, but is an existing tunnel that you can explore. And by me, we make it one way only. Okay, so you will never be able to go back here for whatever reason. Like there will be a huge crevice somewhere, like here, so that no players can go back. You know, and for some reason you can go this way. I don't know. We invent the way how, but. And here we start to learn about monster, combat, spells, and maybe you can encounter a guy, right? You can encounter a guy which in my world is called Madivan. I don't know, I just call it this way, but it's just a mage that is teaching the people that are coming from the other planes how to use the magic in Iliacum. Because the problem is that if you are coming from another plane, you will not be able to know how to use the magic that Talad made or the gods in this planet made, right? You will not be able, because it's a different type of magic. So your first quest will be to actually, if you want to learn magic, and this guy, which is a guy that lives in the stone labyrinths and makes money out of it, because he knows there is a lot of people coming through the portals, just staying there to teach the people, right? And anyway. I can share also the game master guide that I started to write down, and where there is the actual story that we are following. Then after that, you will arrive to the bronze doors, right? You will arrive to the bronze doors for sure, which are in the labyrinth somewhere, and you will go probably to the eagle bronze doors, which are so you will start from there. So the players have to start from there. Cannot start from the city. Makes no sense for them to start from the city. And I would like them to be, I would like this this path that they follow to be a bit painful. Like it's for my players today. We did like 4 or 5 sessions, and they thought that the whole world was just stone labyrinths, you know. The whole world was just that. It was just a freaking cave, you know. Set of caves and stuff. So, and it's very nice when then they reach the bronze doors and they realize that there is a civilization there, right? And there is somewhere else. And maybe it cannot be the main bronze door. I don't know. We have to think about it, but it can also be not the main bronze door. I don't know. There are 7 bronze doors in the first level, by the way. It can be any of those. And so they should spend some time at the bronze doors, right? They should spend some time at the bronze doors and doing some small quests and helping the guards there and starting to learn about the world, but still not see the city. Still not being able immediately to go whatever to the main tavern and start to drink beer, you know. So it's not something that we want. It's not something that we want at the beginning, because they are coming from the portal, so they should unless they are born in the city already, like they are child of someone else. But I don't want the main heroes to be that. I want the main hero to come from the outside. I think. I don't know. It's an open question, but obviously there can be people that are born. There are but then they will have to leave, you know, their whole life there, and it's a mess. So we cannot have them grow up. So anyway, so all of this has to be discussed and reasoned and written down and created, you know. So what I'm saying, and then after this, so after you arrive to the bronze doors, right? So you arrive to the bronze doors, which is here. There is a stupid cover. I don't know why. You arrive to the bronze doors. Okay, this is one step. Then after that, you need to start the freaking main plot. Okay, so I said that a million times. I will say it 1.1 million more. So we need a main plot. We need a freaking main plot. Now we have it. We have some of the main plot written down. Yes, we have it. No one agrees. No one likes it. No one wants it this way. I don't know. I don't care. We can make any main plot that we want, but we need a main plot, right? And the main plot should be connected to all the other small quests that we have in the game today, right? So today we have a lot of quests, a lot of sub-quests. So there is a quest line, it's a million quest lines. There's a quest line, sub-quest line, sub-quest line, sub-quest line, sub-quest line. And it's fine with me, and it's very nice, but we need to connect all these subplots to the main plot. And it is the main task that we have for the Unreal Engine port as well. I mean, I would like to have the new character creation if possible, the new flow, you know, through the bronze doors, and the new main plot that is bringing you. I mean, it's bringing you in one direction, I would say. The main direction is the surface of the planet. I mean, everyone wants to know if there is a surface or if there is no surface of this freaking planet, you know? And why we came through the portals. Why someone, being the fate, the destiny, call it how you want, the gods or whatever, make you go through this freaking portal. And why there are so many people in this city, they came through the portals, right? So why? Obviously there is a reason, obviously there is a mission, obviously there is a purpose. It's just that today in the game is not expressed enough, you know, and so people don't have this sense of progressing through the game, right? They don't have that, and they should have it. And that is what I'm asking to settings since a very long time. I would say 5 years at least. So we need to do it. I know it's not easy, because it's easier to just create a new quest and add it here to the list of quests and have the people have fun with it. I know. But we absolutely need the main plot. So the other big thing to think about is the main plot. So there is no coding needed, no graphical skills needed, as you can see from my paint and such. But that's the most critical and important thing we have to do. And anyone who wants to help, please. And there is much more than that, okay? This is just scratching the surface of what I want to do, so it is just a few pieces, but there is much more than that. Now the main story, Joel, the main story doesn't exist, or well, exists, but is not exposed to the players, you know, so it's not to rethink the main story, it's to is to make the main story. Yeah, I mean to solidify, let's say, the main story and put it into the game, connecting the different quests that we have. So that's the point. Right? Ensuring that while you are doing quests, you are getting pieces of information, fragments of information, which are part of a puzzle that brings you somewhere. And today we don't have it. Today we don't have it. So you live in the world, but you don't know why. Which is maybe the difference between real life and a video game, you know? In a video game you can actually build a main plot. In real life everyone decides his main plot and it's okay, but let's say in a game we can decide that there is actually a major main plot for everyone if they want to follow it. If they want to follow it, it's not mandatory, but let's say. But there is a reason why everyone is on this planet. I mean, on the plane ship planet, right? There is a reason why people are coming through portals. There is a reason why the gods are busy doing something and not very active lately. And there is stuff that the player should do that today they are not doing, just because the game doesn't allow them to do. But what do you mean by we are backing up in history, Miranda? Wow, just realizing that this thing is in so many places that I think I started a major task here. I think I really started a freaking major task. I hope it would have been easier, but it's in so many places. This change of not passing the pointer but passing the actual variable is impacting like the whole code. It's impacting so many places. So many places, boys. Yeah, entering through portals. Everyone comes to Iliacum through portals, except the people that are born there. Okay, so except obviously Cran, which have been made and created by Talad, and Lemurs, which have been created by Lanx. And apart from those two races, which are born here for different reasons, all the others are gathered from other planets. So that's the point of why the game is called Plane Shift. You know, that's the name of the game. That's exactly why it's called this way. And so we should honor that, you know, and we should ensure that we are following that line of thought and putting that into the game, which today we don't have. It's not an easy change. It's not an easy change. Any suggestion of E4 books? I don't know. I didn't use any E4 books. I downloaded a bunch. I started to read them, and then I realized it was completely pointless. I got a number of books and stuff. I just started to see, but it's completely pointless to read a book about Unreal Engine. The best thing you can do is to follow tutorials online and follow the tutorials that are follow the examples. I mean, study the examples that are in the EU distribution, like the third-person character, and start to modify the third-person character shooter somehow. I don't know. You change the weapon, you change the colors, you change the character, you play another animation. I mean, whatever. So really starting to, but obviously there is the standard documentation. So if you go in the EU documentation, I mean, it's not bad. The problem is that I didn't find it nice to read the documentation. I cannot work this way. At least for me, it doesn't work this way. But if you go under Unreal Engine documentation, getting started, programming guide, or getting started, all of this is good stuff. The problem is that it's learning through reading, which in our generation and in your generation, which probably is one generation after me, is basically impossible, you know. So, but I'm already feeling it on myself. I mean, I cannot really read and learn. I mean, I have to try and learn. But like, if you go here, like Introduction to C++ Programming in EU, is pretty good. Programming Basics is pretty good. It's pretty good. All of this is pretty good. It's explaining you all the architecture, how it's done. I mean, all of that is very, very good. I mean, I don't think you need a book. You just need to use the standard documentation. Learning about blueprints is explaining you the blueprints. To me, the easiest is really to open up the editor and open up an existing project, a sample project. There are so many. There are so many existing example projects from Unreal Engine when you install it, and just play with those. Just say, okay, now I want to change the movement of this character, or I want to add on the top left, I want to add a timer that is counting the time of the game, right? Or I want to, when a character just move forward, I want to make a sound, the sound of the steps. I mean, anything like that. If you try to make small modifications, is the best way to learn, to me. Well, actually, the portals were early on. I don't know. I mean, the portals should still be opening continuously, but depending on which, yeah, the problem is that depending on which year we are playing, you know. So actually, the player history starts 750 after Iliacum. So in the year 750, and this is also where I started to have my players play. And so let's say that at that time there should be still some portals opening up and new players coming in and new people coming in. But it's a very good question. I mean, will the portals continue to open forever or not? Or there will be a moment where the population will be enough? I don't know. I don't have an answer to this question. For now, I would say they will open forever, but they will continue to open. There will continue to be people joining in, and yeah, there will still be people joining in. I don't know how many mistakes I'm doing, but because I'm speaking and coding a bit wildly, but it's okay. To me, they should continue to spawn. I mean, the only moment in which the gods may decide that is not needed anymore is when they have enough people to achieve what they want to achieve, right? When they have enough people to achieve the mission. But the problem is that the mission has not been achieved yet, and maybe will never be achieved. Well, pieces of it should be achieved sooner or later, but But I don't think that the gods will close the portal. We stop the portals from spawning. I don't think so. And anyway, it's not about Talad and Langs. Talad and Langs are like very, very minor gods. There are kids of gods that are very, very weak and young and inexperienced gods, but promising. Let's say promising. So they have good talents, and they also have a big advantage that they are in the right place at the right time. That's a big advantage for these two people, for these two gods. Yeah, but the main plot should absolutely start to be kicking in. I want the main plot to kick in, and the fact that I'm playing the tabletop, it will force me to define the main plot more clearly, because my players will go through it anyway. So somehow, I mean, I can decide also not, but they will go through it. So as they go through it, I will write it down and I will solidify it, and I will see how they react, and maybe then I will change it. But I think I need to copy this name is empty everywhere. Because there are a million people where we do this check, and I don't know if I did a change that was too big. I didn't think that the change was so big. It's only for guilds. It's only for guilds, but it seems to be like 1 million places where a member of a guild is used in our code. Like 1 million places. Do you see how many places I'm changing the code? Changing the code like everywhere. I did like 100 since I started speaking. I think I did like 100 changes already, or 200 changes. I don't know. So it's so invasive on our code. It's so invasive, but there's not much more I can do. I could have, I mean, the other way to do it, I could have just converted the result into a new array, and that array I could have passed it to RPC. That was probably an idea. There was probably a way as well, instead of doing all these changes and changing it. But then I have to maintain, the two arrays, one with pointers, one without pointers. I don't know if I really like it. But there are so many places. There are so many places. It's basically every function that is returning will never finish. No, I think I need someone to actually come up with ideas on the portal entrance and on the character creation, and making it as smooth as possible. The question is, do we want to have the player start here, or do we want to have the player start before that? The problem is that before that is extremely hard for us in terms of graphics. It will be super nice. I think I will love it to have the players start before that. But before that is really tough. It's really tough. I don't know, but we can think about it. I need someone to think this kind of stuff, you know? Because before that, there is their planets, right? Before that, there is their planets. So, whatever planet, for some character is the same planet, like Dermorians and Nolflir are coming from the same planet. But the question is, do we want to have anything, even if it's just a cinematic or something, even if it's just a small vision, I mean, like one screenshot, I don't know, one picture, one painting, one something that is telling you that you are coming from another planet. The problem is that if we do it, we will need to have at least one something for each of the planets. And the planets are very different. If you take the Dermoria planet or if you take the Diaboli planet, they're completely different, right? So by the people are coming through this, and they obviously have their history, so they know their past. So now do we want to have, for example, in my tabletop session, I had each player read the portion of the website where you have the history of the races and where you're coming from, because we built this home world, right? This home world. So everyone read his own home world with the description, the social structure, the reason of living. And when they met the other players after the portal, my strong suggestion was that they were starting to describe and speak about their origin somehow. Okay, so the group of players meets and starts to say, "Where I am? What is this place? Oh, you are in a lab. You are in some sort of caverns. Is still my planet? Is it my place? I mean, my land, or is it a new land?" And they start to discover there is a new land. So maybe having some normal life. Well, it cannot be normal life because most of them are escaping from their planets. But having some life inside their planet first, and then going through the portal, I think would be amazing, as a switch. Would be amazing as a switch. So you can stay on the other side as much as you want. Well, not as much as you want, otherwise they will never meet the real players. But okay, you have a limited time, let's say, to stay in your own world, but you have at least some areas that you can walk. And then something happens, or maybe it's just a cinematic. It's something that you cannot really interact with, but you see the planet, you see your land, you see the sea, you see the sky, you see the moon, you see stuff that you will never see again, because you will never see a moon again in Iliacum. So that's nice. So the people will ask, what about the moon in this world? So there is no moon here. What do you mean by moon? For example, my players were asking about the sky. So what is the sky? And if you ask it to a Kran, the Kran will say, what is a sky? And there is no sky. I mean, you mean the top of the cavern? There is no sky. There's nothing like sky or stars. There are no stars. Where are the stars? Can I see the stars at night? No, I cannot. So all of that is to be reasoned about. Okay, so I understand it's not a very short-term thingy, like you're saying, oh, tomorrow we're gonna do it. Yeah, no. I'm aware of that. But I mean, if we don't start, it's not that I finish porting freaking this code, and then someone start to think how we want to change it. I mean, it would be pretty painful for me, to say, oh, now you finished. Okay, now we have to think everything again, and maybe you have to redo a lot of stuff that you already did, but you have to redo it. Well, actually, I mean, it is impossible that all the planet had the problem that they had at the same time, so it's impossible. In fact, if you look at the history, the majority of the races are coming at different times. So there is time in history where the Enkidukai arrives, where the Kleros arrive, where the Stonehammer arrives, and so on. So they arrive at different times. Some of them arrive roughly at the same time, but in general they arrive at different times. Why? Because the catastrophes that are happening in the former planets are not happening all at the same time, and the call or the recall, say, oh no, let's not call it recall because it's wrong. The call to Iliacum is made by purpose, but it is not instant, so it's not that the higher gods have the power to just destroy 6 worlds at a time, so it's not the way it's working. So they are coming at different times. They are coming at different. There is a list, right? If you go to the history page, there is a time of arrival for each race. Like, I don't know, here I'm on the Dermorians, and the Dermorians have the time of arrival in 320 after Iliacum. So they arrive 320 years after Iliacum. If you take the Ilians, I think are the first that are coming, and they are coming 306, 305. So they come like 20 years before, right? 20 years before. The problem is, are the portals open also after this? That's a very good question. I mean, we may say no. The problem is that if we say no, then the logic of this thing, it doesn't exist anymore, because it means that here has been up to, I don't know, 350 after Iliacum, and then it stopped. So if we say that the players are starting in the year 750, all of them are children of someone that is born in Iliacum, and that's fine as well. But we have to think about this, But then, if all of them are child, then it means that the character creation should go differently. I mean, you should start as a child and grow up and play your life, play the first 20 years of your life in like 1 hour, and then the scenario will be completely different. So you will live in the city already. You will just grow in the city, and you have to play 20 years of your life in 1 hour. The problem is reconciling with the history, because unless we can say that few people, so like chosen one, I don't know, the people that are special, I mean the heroes of the game, which are our players, are joining anyway later for whatever reason. I mean, whatever reason. Or we may decide that the first year is before. I mean, we may have this history. The problem is that if we have to play all this history, it will take forever. I think I like to have history behind me because it makes the world more rich, you know. So if we start in year 0, there will be nothing. There will be just the land just created, just the you know the land just created, and no one there, no houses, nothing. So we must have a past, and I think it's good that we start at 750. So we can just say that I mean it's a bit of a I mean it's a bit like the writers sometimes, you know. The people writing books sometimes take, I mean, use an exception. I mean, they are allowed to make some small bends, some small exceptions, just because it fits better the story, you know. And this is what we may do at the beginning. So we may decide that whatever these players, I mean, you are playing the entering of the portals, even if it's not really true, but just because it makes sense. I mean, just because it's nicer, you know, just because it's. Just because it's nicer to play. I don't know. That's a big point. The other point is the main plot, for sure. The other big thing is the UI. So, like I said, making the UI more, which is not this, but making our screens like this, not screens, but like 3D places. You know, so like. Getting lost in the transit for 400 years? I don't know. I mean, getting lost in the transit. What does it mean? I mean, I mean, if we say that they enter 350 and they are starting to play at 750, I mean, it's 400 years we have to go through being lost in the labyrinths. It's too much. Okay, now we have a problem, which is the fact that the compiler is not smart enough and is not giving me any error, but it's failing anyway. That is pretty bad. So I did all the changes. It seems that all the errors are squashed, but it's not giving me any errors. There is one error here. Mm. I didn't change that. Something is not working. I mean, if I compile now, it doesn't give me any meaningful error, but at the same time, it's failing. Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. that the teleport is not instant, but you are floating in space. So what you are saying is that we need another layer, right? There is not just this, but there is something more in between. There is something more in between, which is the time that you take to travel, right? Why sometimes the background color changes? Because I change it, that's why. So you mean that here in the middle, here in between, there is the time that you take to travel, which can be a spiral of time, I don't know. And here it may be, you know, time may not follow exactly what we think it should follow, and somehow you arrive sooner or later or whatever, right? And yeah, the problem is that if you want to play this, I mean, if you want to play like floating through the planes and through the universe and trying to travel through the multiplane, sounds a lot like Planescape, which is a very nice game, by the way. What is the error in this thing? Error binary blah 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 blah. No operator found which takes left-hand operand type gear member. There is no acceptable conversion. Okay, fine. Tell me where is this error though. Why is not telling me where this error is? It says something on this line, but on this line, it wants to have the pointer to this. I don't understand what he wants. He's saying he cannot find. Don't get it. What do you mean by there always been reason for keeping them open and guarded, hunting and trade? No, I mean you cannot. I mean the portals are one way. You cannot trade and you cannot go back. There is no go back unless you are speaking about the bronze doors. The bronze doors, yes, they are used to trade, and sometimes we they leave them open and they go mining in the stone labyrinths and they come back. So they bring materials, they bring goods, they bring whatever it is, but not the portals. The portals are really one way. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why is complaining. I mean, find by key, he likes it. So what is the difference between find by key? So find by key is finds an item by key, assuming the element type of a loss operator for the comparison. While find while find is finds the first element within the array, where you have to pass in a pointer though, I think. Param the item to look for. I mean, the big difference is that I'm passing in a pointer instead of. Now it's not giving the error anymore. No, it for sure is giving the error of this. Cons, key type, and the key. I mean, it's exactly the same, by the way. Because I think that index is anyway, the second parameter is optional. I'm a bit confused on this. It's basically doing the same anyway. Assuming I can compare the two though. That's the big assumption. That's the big assumption. Because he's just checking that it exists inside the list of members. I think it's fine. Can I do this? I hope I can. Good night, if you have to go. That's the same problem. I can do this. Wow, but then why? I mean, why it doesn't like the object? I think I'm missing something big here. There's something I don't understand. She's messing me up. It doesn't like. No, I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why it doesn't like it? So if I make a T array of my FPS guild member, okay? Let's say I make a new array, okay? And I call it I don't know, array 1, whatever it is, okay? And this one is just an empty array at the beginning, okay? So what I want to do in this array, I want to add a new element. So I do my FPS guild member new, let's call it element, okay? And I do this, and then I just say to array 1 that I want to add this, right? Let's delete the remove for a second, which is messing him up. Okay, so I just want to do this. So is it saying that it is not possible? That for some reason it doesn't like the fact that I'm passing in this? Why? Binary equal no operator found which takes a left hand operand of type PS guild member or no other acceptable conversion. No, I think it's not here. I think it's not in this piece of code. I think it's complaining, but it's not in this piece of code. It's somewhere else, and unfortunately the stupid compiler doesn't tell me where. In this case, it's my find by key. Okay, is my find by key, which I have defined just above here. So it's this piece. Okay, so let me try 1 second to remove all of this. Okay, I want to understand if it compiles then, because there is something fishy, very fishy going on. I want to understand what is it. I want to understand what is this. succeeded. Okay, so the error is in this function. Okay, the error is here. The error is here. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to find this target inside my members list. I mean, it doesn't seem to be a big question, you know. So I want to do members dot find of my target. Okay, so this, it seems that is not, it doesn't like it. Failed. Ah, I think I know. I think I know. So the find function is trying to compare the elements of the array, and the element of array is a custom structure that I made, which is this one, which is not defining the equal operator. And so since it's not defining the equal operator, it doesn't know how to find it. Okay, now it makes a lot of sense to me. Okay. So I just need to define the operator equal, and I have to define. So I think if the char ID is the same, the two objects are the same. That is my idea. Okay. So how do I redefine the operator equal? I think it's just operator equal. I don't remember how it's done. I think it's something like. Let me search it because I don't remember how to redefine the operator equal on a struct. How do you define it? I need to specify the class. Okay, so will be my f guild member. I don't know the syntax of this, but I think I never did it. Or if I did it, I did it a long time ago. So it will be operator equal. It should be equal. And he's taking as an input. I don't want the operator plus. I want the operator equal. It's not assignment operator. Is the equal operator. Relational? Ah, it's a relational. Okay. It's called relational for whatever reason. Because anyway, I need two guild members coming in, right? So I need a const f guild member A and a const f guild member B that have to be compared, right? And the thing I need to do, I have to say if A dot char ID is equal to B dot char ID, then return true. Oops. Then return true, otherwise return false, right? Okay. Do you think that's it? But it has to be a bool, not my class. Bool operator, blah blah blah, const. You want it as this. Doesn't like it. What I'm doing wrong? What I'm doing wrong? It should be like this, I think. Obviously, it doesn't make the example with the equal, which is the one I need, but seems it really doesn't like it. Well, looking at this example, seems okay. Too many parameters for this operator function. Doesn't want the space. What do you mean too many parameters? I mean, you need a two to compare, so it has to be two parameters, A and B. There is no other way. I think it should be okay. I don't know why he's complaining, but the compiler is complaining. Can we convince the compiler that it's okay? Just by compiling it again and again and again until we convince him? Probably not. I don't know. Also, if I mouse over, too many parameters for this operator function. Too many parameters. Because maybe it's only one and then I have to do this. I think I understand that. I think it's like other, so it's taking like, let me see if we was doing it like this. Yeah, it's doing the other one. Okay, I think, no, it's two here, though. So confused, boys. So the greater than, no? The operator greater than, where is it? Binary operate, no, unary relational operate. Minus, it was taking only one parameter, and then it's doing a feet. Okay. I think I got it. I think I got it. So it should be something like that. Okay. Should be something like this. I think it should. I think it should. Wow, we are deep into the C++ code, boys. Can you feel it? That we are like with our hands inside the C++ code. Holy. Okay, now I will do a test. I want to play a song and see. Is a good idea? No, because then they will mute it, huh? Freaking hell. Why everyone on every channel is like playing all the music he wants? But when I did it, I got like 10 copyright strikes. Maybe people just do it anyway, don't care about copyright strikes. Could be. Really? It still failed? No, my theory goes to shit. No. Why? I was sure it was this. Really? Why? Binary equal equal. No operator found which takes a left-hand operand of type const guild member. Or there is no acceptable conversion. Doesn't like that. I mean, our operator now is declared, is there. Our operator is there. Why is complaining about it? Our operator is here. Is the best and beautiful operator I ever seen. Why is complaining about it? What I'm doing wrong? I don't know. Sometimes he plays operator next to it with a space, not with a space. I think it makes no difference. And our operator is defined, is there. Look at this, it's a beautiful operator. Why doesn't like it? Bool operator equal equal, right? I cannot do it for a struct. I hope I can do it for a struct. Any C++ expert listening that can help me? C++ boys! We could do it as a member function or a not member function. To overload it as a member function, the declaration is as follows. Bool operator equal equal blah 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 blah. No, I want to do it like this. Here's a const at the end. Here's a const at the end, which I don't have. So it's const. Does it make a difference? For sure it does. Yes, this const that I didn't have at the end. Maybe that's the trick. We need to solve this, otherwise. But it's a good point. I mean, the point is that if I have to find this object, how do I define that this object is equal to the other? So I should do it the same. I should do the same in theory for all the structures, also guild level. You will not be able to compare it if you don't have an operator that is equal, right? So, but I don't know what I'm missing. I'm losing a bit of traction here, so I think if I don't solve it, I will just think about it tonight and fix it maybe tomorrow. I think I will stop the stream if this is not working because it's getting a bit late and complex. But you have faith in me, right? Hello, Revenaras. Will the source and asset come available on Real Engine? Well, actually, we have a repository today that is shared between the developers, and so yes, I mean it's available to developers, and we can share it. Now the license mechanism we didn't we compiled. Okay, yeah, was the const missing? Okay, very very nice. The licensing schema we didn't decide yet. Because we were GPL in the past, and we were GPL, and at the end, I don't know if I liked to be GPL. I mean, on one side I liked it, on the other side I think the GPL is really restricting you to do a lot of stuff. And so I think we will go with a license, which is always the license that I was thinking about, which is just a license that is like open, meaning that you can download the source and you can look at it, you can study it, but you cannot reuse it in another project. So you cannot sell it, you cannot reuse in another project, you cannot do anything with it. Okay, which I know is a bit restrictive, but at this point I think is the license that I would like to go with. So our concept of open source has always been something that is called that I called open development. To me is open development or open source in the literal interpretation of the two worlds. So your source is available. I mean, it's open, meaning that that you can see it. But from seeing it to being the owner of it is a very very big jump. So I would like people to be able to see what we do, how we do it, or take inspiration from it, take example, take piece of code, and and maybe make something similar, understand how it's done. But I don't think I would like someone to take our project as it is, recompile it, and sell it. So this is what I don't want. What I don't want. So yeah. So if you want to contribute, I can add you to the repo. Let's say not immediately, but if you stick a bit around with us, and let's say if you follow us a bit, if you start to contribute and speak with us a bit, I will open it to you later on. Yes, no problem. But I cannot do it, let's say, immediately without knowing who you are and why you are here and whatever, right? So, but if you contribute a bit, if you follow us a bit, if you help, maybe with other stuff, if you start to, I don't know, if you start to download Unreal Engine and start to work on, do you already work with Unreal Engine? You already have, you already know how to? I think I made a bit of a mix here. Find the 32 index none. I think I changed this code, and I changed it because they were missing the equal operator. Now let me just search again in the old code what this was, because otherwise oh, you already have your own game engine. Okay, which game is that? I mean, is which kind of game? It's called Foresight. It's a bit like Fortnite. Fortnite had a lot of success. I wish you had the same success. I wish you will have. No, I wish. How do you say that in English? I wish you the same success. Okay, that's right. Okay, I mean, if do you think you will have time to contribute, or you just want to see the code to learn? And if you want to contribute, I mean, definitely I will be more eager to give you access to everything, but depending if you have the time to help. That's a mobile game. 3D, like Paragon. Like it was Paragon. Like one time there was a Paragon. Guild info. Where do we have guild info inside of this? Is in bulk objects, I think. Guild info is. Oh, you worked for so much for an RPG as well? Oh, nice. Like Paragon? Okay. Okay. You also worked on RPG. I mean, why you don't abandon all your projects and join us then? We already have a working game. Abandon everything and join us. You will be assimilated. Let me see if there is a good meme for you will be assimilated. I think there will be for sure. Yes. Oh, I didn't want to click on that. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. Understand? You will be assimilated anyway. You cannot make an MMO by yourself. It's impossible. It's impossible, I tell you. There is only one MMO that has been built in the whole world that was free and was made by volunteers and managed to stay alive for 15 years and has been made for free by volunteers in the spare time. Imagine which one it is. It's our game. No one else made it. So, I don't know. I mean, you can join us. Why not? You can join us. We have already the settings. We already have the code. We already have the graphics. We already have the history. We already have 400 quests working in game. We have a lot of stuff. Why not? Why not? You will be assimilated anyway. Ah, you already have a game. Ah, you already have a running game then, which is much better. But then it's not a volunteer pro. Is a. I mean, is it a company? Is it a commercial project, or is it an indie project? I think it's a commercial project. Eh? Remove member fine. So I need to change this to be this. So originally this was the okay. Let's bring it back to what it was, okay? Because otherwise I'm just getting confused here. So originally was this, and then it was index none instead of that, and was returning false. And then down here, it was target character blah 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 disconnect. Yes, member delete index. Okay. So it was members dot remove, and then I hope I can do m now. Because this is the whole this is the whole reason why I did the operator now. It's not M, it's target, right? No, it's I. Remove. Let me just check guild info CPP, that particular line, what it was, because the remove index, the dot remove from an array, it was delete index. Delete index is translated as remove at in a real engine. Okay. So this was remove at of I. Okay, fine. I think We managed to put it back to what it was, okay? That's the game. Ah, it's a kind of a World of Tanks or something like that. Member of War is multiplayer, co-player. Each player takes control of a military vehicle and fights against player and enemy units. Nice. Very nice. I'm reading this. This one, huh? Nice. Nice. Some free advertising for you. Always good. And it is done in not in a real engine. You said, in another engine. You call, I don't know that name that you said. You said Foresight. Okay, so I think I don't know it. Okay, now so you're more of a studio, but I don't understand if it's commercial or not. I didn't check it, but is it just a free game or is I mean, what is the business model? It's just anyway. By the way, it compiled. Incredibly enough, it compiled. So it compiled. This means that the overall change that we did to like 1 million files actually worked properly. So now the point is, let's restart to where we were before doing the change like 1 hour ago or 2 hours ago, no, 1 hour and a half ago probably. We were inside client manager and we were trying to do, no, client, inside guild manager, and guild manager was sending out, was send member data. Okay, so we were in this function and we were trying to call this function here, receive guild member data. We were not able to call it because this one was an array to a pointer, which RPC doesn't like for whatever reason. So now we changed it, and in fact it compiled. So we're already calling this. Very nice, very nice. So what we can do, we can go in the editor now, and our receive guild member, I think is this one, right? But no, it's not this one at all, because it has to be in our player controller. So there must be here somewhere. There it is. Receive guild data. Yes. Then we need to have also this one, receive guild data level, which is the levels, which is the other function we did. Send level data. Here it is. Right. And then now we have a new one, which is our receive guild member data. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, these two we should check. At the moment, I think we can just maybe loop and print out something just for fun. Right? And this array element should be possible to break it. Yes, you see, it's already breakable because it's an Unreal Engine structure, which is very nice. And oops, I clicked on the wrong window. There is no form of microtransactions. Okay, is it an idea to have a talk on Discord? You can back it with me on stream. Yeah, we can. We can also discuss on Discord. We have a Discord channel, actually, which I can give you. We have a Discord channel which is this one. Anyone can join. I mean, we prefer developers to join, but I would say anyone can join. At the moment there is no restriction. Then if it becomes too big, we will restrict. But at the moment there is no problem. So that's the invite for the channel. And anyone can join. So also people that are watching this video later on can click on the link and just join. It's no problem. It's no problem. And we can discuss there sometimes. Yes, let's say that we can. So let's do a loop, break this, and just print out the title. Okay. So we just print out a list of titles for this, and then here I think we will do the same. We will do a for loop. We will break this, and we will just print out the name, which I think is perfectly fine. So we will just print out the name of the member. Okay, so if this prints out something, means that all the stuff that we did server side is actually properly working. Okay, and yes. Okay, now let me do maybe one clean compile. Check out, yes, check out selected, yes. Okay, save, okay. I will just close the editor because I want to have a clean compile and not a hot reload compile because again I don't like hot reload too much. Okay, you joined. Okay, nice. It's me. My name is Talad there. Actually, it's linked to another account, but it's okay. I mean, it's me. The guy saying me is me. Okay, so all of this compiled, very, very nice. So let's launch the server and the client and see what happens, okay? Let me see what happens. I mean, it may crash, huh? It may crash. Possible. Can I log in? The server is still starting up, probably. Ah, yes, because I didn't delete the maps. And it's taking forever to load all the maps. Okay, we have to delete the unnecessary maps so that it's quicker, otherwise it takes forever. Why is not logging in? Something very bad happened. Attempting to add an actor that's been destroyed on the network object list. Oh my god, because I clicked login 2 times, so there's something fishy going on. But I think now it's loading. Yeah, now it's loading. Wow, server crashed or what? Oh, the server is there. Come on, log in, you can do it. Is it my code changes that are messing it up? No, I don't think so. Okay. Loaded in. So, what we want to do, we want to open up the guild window. So in the chat, we want to open up we want to say /guild info and see if the window that pops up, holy shit. Okay, not all the panels are visible at the same time. Okay, this is something we have to change. Members. Okay, let me see if he printed out something, because all the 4 panels are visible at the same time. That's not a good idea. Here we are on the client. Actually, I don't see the printouts, by the way. Even if so the screen is the sum of 4 different screens, so that's why it's so messy. But I see here in between the lines, I don't know exactly what happened with this window really. Why didn't print it out? It print because it's still server side? Ah, yes, because that's still server side. There it is. So apprentice, novice, adept. Yeah, he printed it out, by the way. Apprentice, novice, adept, peon, master. You see this? These are the levels. These are the levels that we wanted to print out. Now, unfortunately, I don't see the members list. I see the levels, but not the members list. So I think I need to debug it server side and see what happens. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. I think I need to debug it 1 second server side and see what happens. Then we have to fix the fact there are like 5 screens popping up at the same time. That's not very good, I'll say. Yeah, at the moment the UI I'm just porting as it is. I mean, I'm not really concerned about the graphics, because anyway the graphics are going to be redone. You know, so are going to be redone. So at the moment I'm just using programmer's art, you know. So I'm just using the basic of the basic, and I'm just porting the functionality. Yes, most of the UI. I mean, the UI colors and stuff will be probably redone or improved later on. And also, with Unreal Engine is very nice because it's something that you can do just from the editor with very little programming knowledge. So this is what I'm planning to, to pass on to the other people. So when the main functions are done, they can just work with the editor and just do all the visual changes that they want. Right? They just have to connect the blueprints, and that's it. The blueprint will contain already all they need. That's the beauty of Unreal. Okay, so the levels are sent properly. I would like to understand why the send member data is not. Seems that member data is empty. It's fully empty. So there is some error here in the code, or there is something happening. So we should debug this part, because going into this, maybe it's bailing out here, or it's bailing out here. I don't know. It's bailing out somewhere, and so we are not getting any members. We're not getting any members. So let me relaunch the client and try to see if we have any problem there. Now, it is my hobby. I have a main job. I have a regular job that is just done in the evenings and whenever I have the time. Evenings, nights, and weekends, let's say. So this is definitely not my main job. I have a regular job. Okay, so let's try to log in again. And let's go for this guild. As soon as I type this, it will go in debug mode. Okay, here it is. And wait, I have to remove these other debug points because we don't care. Handle subscribe guild data. Okay, send member data. Okay, this one is the one that we need to debug and see where it goes out. So guild is valid, so this should not return. Let's see guild level. Guild level is available, so but the title is empty. Okay, for whatever reason, my assumption that the title was always filled out is a bad assumption, because actually this level is properly level 4 but as an empty title. I don't know why. Get guild level character. Let me try to execute this again if I can. Yeah, seems I can. So it goes inside of this. It's trying to extract the guild level. Okay, initialize it as an empty level, which is fine. Let me see if it finds it empty. No, it doesn't find it empty. So it goes here. It's trying to find the member of this guild info. Find member. Let's debug this as well because I'm not sure what it does. So it's searching inside the guild info a member. Okay. Where are the members though? Here it is. The members are here. And my name is here. The problem is that the title is empty. Oh no, the title is here. Guild level. Title is Maximus. Okay, so the title is here. Why is retrieving then an empty title? I have no idea. Anyway, searching for the member. At a certain point, will find me. In fact, he found me. He found my membership. Okay. He's checking if the name is empty. This is the mistake. That is the mistake I made. It should be like this. If it's empty, it goes here. If it's not empty, it returns the right level. Okay, there was a mistake in my porting. How is my time tomorrow? I'm available only in the evenings, but actually tomorrow evening I am playing tabletop RPG with my friends, and actually I'm playing Plane Shift tabletop, because it exists, or anyway I created it, and yeah, and so tomorrow we'll have very little time. I think the best is Saturday afternoon. I think I will be around here for sure. Or tomorrow evening late, like after 1 a.m. or so. But I think it's easier if it's Saturday afternoon. Okay, server is up. How is possible that it started without recompiling the DLLs? Something fishy here. I changed the code, but it didn't ask me to close the client. Wait, it's impossible. Strange. At the moment it's midnight here. It's 11:53. I'm in Italy. I live in Italy, so it's 11:53 p.m. It's good to hear that you like RPGs. We like RPGs as well, a lot. Okay, so now that started for real. So, what is your role in the team? What do you do? What do you do in game development? Okay, so now the breakpoint should trigger. So, guild info, boom. This one we don't need anymore. So now it should, in theory, yeah, it goes through. Okay, good, nice. It goes through properly. So now we should have. Yes, there it is. The member is. I'm the only member of the. Ah no, there are also these 5 other members. Okay, nice. He printed out all the members of the guild. and it print out the levels of the guild. Okay, perfect. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, I see. So you are doing a bit of everything, right? Like I do. I'm doing a bit of everything as needed. How much time do you think you will have to dedicate? I mean, do you want to help us, or do you want just to learn how we do it? Because that's the, just to understand what you want to do. And I'm totally fine if you just want to learn how to do how we do it. But okay, this works okay. Now, so we reached the objective to have, let's say, the data client side for members and levels, which is very nice. So we have that. We have that. And now we miss only one piece, which is the alliance tab. Right? Because inside levels, I mean, it's called levels, but actually it's permissions, right? This one has inside of this the permission thingy, right? The permission bit field, yes, privileges, there it is. So yes, that. So all this information we have already on the client. We miss only one piece, which is the alliance data. So the alliance data should be very, very similar. Yeah, it is becoming a bit late, so I think I will do it. I will do it the next session, but I think we made good progress. So we definitely completed the UI, and we completed the sending of the data. We just need the alliance. So next time will be about alliances, and will be about, let's say, merging the code into the UI. So merging the data into the UI. So showing this information properly, and also making the UI panels not be stupid as they are now, but working one by one, because now they are working like one on top of each other. Okay. Okay, good. I think that the next time we will fix this function and we will go through that. Okay, with that said, I think I will close the stream now. I think it's been a good session. I'm very happy about it. One thing we should do, we should check in our changes before forgetting about it. So what we did, we added the remaining screens of the guild window, and then we ported the code for members, levels, and permissions, and only the alliance is missing. Okay, and I think we can check in this because there is no problem. This is new, this is new, this is new, this we don't need. This is all changes we did, and this is all changes we did. Okay, nice. I think we can check in all of this. Good. There are no conflicts, which is very nice. And then what I can do just an update on. The point is that if I do an update now, it will download again the same stuff. But let me do an update only on characters. No, there's been no check-in, right? Between my last check-in, there have been no check-in from other people, right? Let me see. No, exactly. Tuesday and Friday. Okay. Good. That's it, boys. That's it, boys. So with that, I will say goodbye, and I will speak to you soon. I don't know when, but potentially Saturday afternoon I will be able to stream if I have the if I want. I don't know. I will check, but maybe yes. Maybe we'll go on with Saturday. Okay. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.